of the immortality of the soul. And my colleague Robert Boval has argued in his earlier book, The Orion Mystery, that one possibility for what may be hidden inside one of the concealed chambers in the Great Pyramid is indeed this missing capstone, that it was taken off by the high priest at a certain point and placed inside the pyramid.
Boy, you'd have to wonder what would happen if they put it back.
Yes.
I had the great honor, Graham, before his death, of extensively interviewing Robert Monroe.
Yes.
And there are many who would say that what his work is the modern equivalent of what was once lost and what you have talked of tonight. So we're at the bottom of the hour, rather, and we've got 30 minutes to go with you. But I want you to answer that when you come back, if you would. Truly a great man, Robert Monroe and the Monroe Institute. We've talked of lives that go on, people who come back again and again and again. To Graham Hancock. Well, wait a minute, just before we go back. The whole idea of what we've been doing is to slow down the insanity going on now in the Giza area. And the pressure point that we think would be a good one would be 60 minutes. They need to contact Graham. Now, the address for 60 minutes is 555, that's 555 West 57th Street, New York, New York, 10019. Again, 555 West 57th Street, New York, New York, 10019. The fax number for 60 minutes is area code 212-975-0322. Again, area code 212-975-0322. Back now to Graham Hancock. Graham, there you go. That's a point of pressure.
That's great. Yeah, and if you know, if people put pressure on 60 Minutes, write to them and urge them to investigate what is happening at Giza concerning this license that has been granted under bizarre conditions for the excavations at the Sphinx. And if 60 Minutes want further information, definitely the best way is for them to get in touch with me through my publishers, who are Crown Publishers of New York, and we'll take it from there.
All right, good enough. East of the Rockies, you're on the air with Graham Hancock. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bell, Mr. Hancock.
Where are you, dear lady?
Fayetteville, Tennessee.
All right.
A few years ago, they had an exhibit of Ramses II that came to Jacksonville, Florida, and I was living there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I heard that it was coming there, I felt so strange. I felt like I had known this man or whatever he was before, never heard of him before or since. And after the exhibit left town, I quit feeling that way. I don't know. I just had this strange feeling like I had lived in that time.
Maybe you had. So many of us today are getting this sense of an awakening, and it is powerfully connected to ancient Egypt. And all the pharaohs of Egypt, and Ramesses II was no exception, were high initiates in an extraordinary wisdom tradition. And that wisdom tradition, above all else, sought the immortality of the soul and emphasized rebirth and reincarnation.
So, Graham, maybe it's not some sort of new age craziness like the hula hoop racing across the globe, but some sort of mass memory.
Mass awakening.
It's an awakening.
One thing I really would caution people against, however, is imagining that any of this is easy. And one of the problems I have with the so-called New Age stuff is that it tends to suggest that there is a quick and easy route to enlightenment. There isn't. We all have to do the work. Life is an initiatory journey, and we cannot we cannot expect to achieve that initiation just easily at the snap of a finger, but by reading some lightweight text. It's a matter. Everybody in their personal lives has to expect to work. Don't expect it to come easily. And it's a matter of how we relate to the world, how we relate to people around us, what we do with our minds, and with this precious opportunity that we've been given on this planet to learn and to grow.
First-time caller line. You're on the air with Graham Hancock. Hello.
Hello, Art. Hello, Graham.
Hi.
Back in the early 80s, I used to watch this television. Can I give the name?
Yes. Where are you, sir?
San Diego.
San Diego. All right.
Television preacher. Back in the early 80s, I used to watch a television preacher called Dr. Eugene Scott.
Oh, yes.
And he used to sit on the air for hours and read from this book called, I think it was called The Secrets of the Great Pyramid. And a book which purported that the passages in the Great Pyramid were sort of like a calendar that sort of pre-recorded modern history. Could you expound on that?
Well, I'm suspicious of the notion which has been expressed in some rather badly researched, in my view, that specific modern events such as, for example, the Great Depression and other events in the 20th century have in some way been prefigured by the angles of certain passages inside the Great Pyramid. I don't think the geniuses who created the Great Pyramid, the spiritual geniuses who created that, were particularly interested in predicting the ups and downs of the modern economy. I think that their focus was spiritual. I think there is a sense in which the Great Pyramid is a prophetic device, and which it is, and in which it is bringing to a focus today the energies of millions of people around the world. And I think that it was always designed to do that. But no, I don't think that it specifically predicts particular events. I think that, as a matter of fact, I don't think that any destiny is carved in stone. I think we make our own destiny as we go along, and we always confront crossroads, and we always have to make choices. And the fundamental choice in the world today is the choice between good and evil. And all the ancient texts say that evil exists in the world, and that God could not prevent evil from existing in the world, but that mankind was created with the power of choice, that we have the power to choose between good and evil. We have the power to choose the destiny that will confront us. And for that reason, I reject the notion that the Great Pyramid is specifically prophetic of particular events in our century.
Regarding current social behavior, Graham, my hopes are not met by my observation of current reality.
We live in dark times.
Yes.
We live in dark times and a dark night of the soul, and terrible forces are at loose in the world today, which are leading mankind on the path of destruction. And too many people are prepared to go along with this and to make excuses for cruel and vicious behavior towards others, and to turn a blind eye to cruelty and unkindness and wickedness in the world. And this is a terrible mistake that we are making. One thing that the ancient Egyptian texts make absolutely clear is that in the life beyond death there is a reckoning, and that we will confront with absolute clarity and truth the consequences of our own actions, and also of what we failed to do during life. And that's why I think it's so important for everybody to wake up to the mystery of life, and to realize that this life is an opportunity that we've been given to prepare, and not to waste it away, and not to allow the darkness that is engulfing the world to continue to spread. We can resist it, we can oppose it, and on what we do about this, we will ourselves be held accountable in the final reckoning. That I am sure of.
I am too. West of the Rockies, you're on the air with Graham Hancock. Hello.
Hi, Art. Thank you very, very much. My name is David. I'm in Eugene, Oregon.
Yes, David.
And I must say, in a world full of people who use fear to motivate, you are a true soldier, because you use courage and knowledge to guide us, and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And for Graham, I've been to the pyramids in Chichen Itza, and I was about 15. That was 10 years ago, and my father took me and my sister. And regardless of how they were built or what their tolerances between stones are, you have to realize that it took a great passion from a great many people to want to build these things and want to put them there for some reason. And all I can say is that you have to look forward, and you have to realize that there is a reason for their knowledge. Let me see.
No, you're absolutely correct. These, when you go to these monuments with an open mind, as you clearly did, it becomes immediately apparent that you are looking at works of transcendent skill and beauty and spiritual power. The